Gentleman Jack, a Yorkshire lady of renown, never so fine, won't toe the line, speak a name, gentleman frown. Shipped it all, she had them all, the fairest sex fell under a spell. Dapper and bright, she held them tight, handsome man seduced them well. Gentleman Jack, oh gentleman Jack, watch your back, you're under attack. The husbands are coming, you better start running, for nobody likes a Jack the Lass. Jack the Lass, Jack the Lass, no one likes a Jack the Lass. The code is cracked, your bags are packed, the knives are out for gentleman Jack. She played the fellas at the game. Sharp and white, she's one of a kind. Devilish ways that men couldn't tame. Hidden away, revealed today. Loaded words in diaries found. Once exposed in a baffling code. Lusty letters all ever bound. Gentleman Jack, oh gentleman Jack, watch your back, you're under attack. The husbands are coming, you better start running, for nobody likes a Jack the Lass. Jack the Lass, Jack the Lass, no one likes a Jack the Lass. The code is cracked, your bags are packed, the knives are out for gentleman Jack. Watch your back, you're under attack. The signs are coming, you better start running, for nobody likes a Jack the Lass. Jack the Lass, Jack the Lass, no one likes a Jack the Lass. The code is cracked, your bags are packed, the knives are out for gentleman Jack.
Well, hello, ALBW, wherever you are. So I'm here with you today a lot earlier than I thought or had planned on being, because I had planned on not coming back until my hair was back. But this conversation is far too important to wait for that. So I'm just delighted to be here. And before we get started, for those of you who don't know why I have a hat on, I have just completed treatment for breast cancer. And I'm going to urge you to do your own self-checks, because that's how I found it. And I found it early enough that I had really good news from my PET scan the other day, which is that the tumor has disappeared. So on to surgery. But even more important, I wanted to thank each and every one of you who texted, sent cards, reached out via Messenger, certainly everyone that showed up in the Minster at ALBW in all those fabulous striped shirts. You absolutely have carried me through the last several months. And I will tell you that I do believe in the power of faith, not talking about religion, talking about faith, and what kinds of things can be accomplished if we just put our minds to it. So thank you so much, every one of you. But today we're going to keep talking about faith. Today, I'm going to bring on the fabulous Sally. Let's welcome her into the studio. Sally Wainwright. Oops, Sally Wainwright's hair.
Hi.
There we go.
Hi, sorry.
No worries. It's all good. Yeah. So we're bringing Sally. Thank you so much for coming on today. You know, the fans have been, the tom-toms have definitely been drumming since yesterday. And they're very much looking forward to this conversation to find out what might be happening. But before we do that, I know I would be remiss if I didn't speak for not just myself, but the entire community to thank you for everything that you've done, the fabulous show that you created, and the way that you have changed lives around the world. So thank you for that.
Thank you.
Again.
Thank you for saying it. I mean, it's been an extraordinary experience for all of us who've been involved with the show to see the extraordinary impact it's had on.
Yes.
You know, so many people, and in such a profound way, and in a way that I've I think Saran said this in an Instagram message yesterday. We just never experienced anything like that before. We've all worked on shows that we're all really proud of and that have been successful, and hit the mark in various other ways, but never ever experienced anything like this. The response from the fans to this show has been off the scale. It's been wonderful, and I would obviously like to take this opportunity to thank the fans for their response and for being so vocal about it. And I mean, I really felt this at the Anne Lister birthday weekend, which you couldn't be at, and it was phenomenal. The atmosphere there was extraordinary, and a lot of people were ill with COVID. A lot of people couldn't turn up, but there was still a massive turnout, and there were so many. The atmosphere of the week was. It's just lovely. It was a really wonderful experience being there, and it's so extraordinary to have been part of how this community's come together. I mean, I haven't been part of the community much. I mean, I've attended a lot of events and stuff and really enjoyed it, but it's just extraordinary. It's phenomenal. It's really, really exciting, and it's hard to think of this as a failure because it hasn't been. It's far from it. It's been a hugely successful show. It's 16 really, really classy episodes of telly.
Absolutely.
And it's been very well received. We had 5-star and 4-star reviews across the board. Season 2, we had similar for season and better for season 1, actually. But maybe that's because it was, it was the first series, so it got slightly more attention than the second series got. I don't know, but it's been the biggest thing for me now is that Anne Lister is out there. People now have heard of her big time all over the world.
Yes, exactly.
That's not going to, she's not going to go back into the, into hiding. She's out there now.
She's definitely out there. Yeah.
So, it's been extraordinary. It's been successful. So, I think that's what's kind of slightly difficult for me to process now is, I've had shows that didn't hit the mark and that didn't get an audience and that didn't get good reviews.
Right.
But then to have a show, I hate the word cancelled because it's kind of, it sounds so horrible that it's been cancelled. And, it wasn't cancelled. It got a second series, which is great news,
Exactly. Yes.
So, the fact is it got fantastic reviews. It got, in this country at least, it got the kind of audience figures you hope for.
Yes.
And it made a massive impact, which is the third thing that broadcasters were interested in. It could not have made a bigger impact, actually.
No.
Short of being, something like Game of Thrones. But in the community, it made a phenomenal impact, and so there you go.
Those are all great things. Thank you.
Too downhearted. I mean, obviously, I'm gutted. My plan was to go on, and I'd love to have told the story of the rest of her life with Anne Walker, actually, and beyond. The final journey, and even slightly beyond that. I'd have loved to have been able to do that. That was, my ambition when we set out and when we got it greenlit.
And so what we want to talk about today is how that ambition might actually still be a real thing, and how that dream might possibly happen.
I think realistically, to be truthful, it's unlikely, sadly. But shows have been cancelled and come back.
Yeah.
And
tell us
before we get cool if that happened to Gentleman Jack, but we can't. It's you got to start out knowing that it's it's an
before we go into that, to tag on to your comment about the success of Gentleman Jack and what was accomplished, I want to add a few very important points to that. First of all, as you mentioned, it created an incredibly healthy, an incredibly active, and an incredibly engaged community online and beyond, in person, whatever. It created out of Gentleman Jack came the Code Breakers, who managed to finish transcribing the entirety of Anne's journals. So we now have those decoded and ready to move into the next phase, whatever that might be. The Anne Lister Society, which is dedicated to a thorough study of Anne's times and lifetimes and impact.
And which had a really successful inaugural conference.
Yes, it did.
You know, it was really fantastic. The quality of the lectures was across the board brilliant.
Yeah,
you know,
and
it's really exciting and stimulating being there.
We're looking forward to the second meeting of that next April in Halifax during ALBW. And I want to talk to you about that later. But also, Packed with Potential, which continues to foster independent research of Anne Lister. They've done a marvelous job of creating their virtual online community.
It's really good.
Right? In Search of Anne Walker, who's done so much to bring Anne out of the shadows.
Absolutely, yeah.
Including finding that diary, which is just, that's just amazing, right?
Wonderful.
Let's see, Anne Lister College at York University, the first college ever named after a lesbian, and all because of Gentleman Jack and Anne Lister. I mean, what can you say? And at the University of York, not York University, there is now also a PhD scholarship funded by none other than Sally Wainwright in perpetuity for the study of anything AL related. So anybody who's thinking about a PhD, you might want to check that out. ALBW, that also came about because of Gentleman Jack, and that's our purpose is to create a real-life, real-time, in-person gathering every year of the people who are not only Gentleman Jack fans, but Anne Lister, people who are interested in Anne Lister, her life, her times, and want to know the other people in the community, not just online, but in person. Of course, ALBW Live. So we're really happy to be part of that record. But in any case, there's just so much that has come out of this. And it's all something that can be used to impress upon a potential partner for the BBC, should they be interested in carrying it on. Now, from what you've told me, they're, along with their pride in the program, they really do want to continue. Yes? Yeah.
What is clear to me from conversations I've had is that the BBC would have happily continued with the series, sorry. Yeah. And they had more or less given it the green light for the third series. And we were waiting for HBO, and then HBO have had to make cuts. I don't want to get too much into the politics of that. Mm-hmm. And what is a bit sad is that our execs at HBO were really reluctant to do this because they commissioned the show, they greenlit it, they know how important it is.
Right, exactly. Yeah.
I have got no anger towards them. They've been wonderful across the board. They've been wonderful right from day one. They've still been wonderful now. And this has been a really difficult and regrettable decision for them, as far as I'm aware. But the fact remains that they feel they can't continue with it, and the BBC feel that they don't want to make a show that's not of the same quality.
Right.
So
that's a good time to just briefly, without going into the specifics of it, because those are conversations that I'm not sure always need to be shared. But HBO played a significant part in the financing of Gentleman Jack in terms of to bring the quality of that program. Mm-hmm. And to the point where from what I understand, from the BBC trying to fund that entire amount in order to carry the program forward at its current level isn't really even doable, because it's a fairly hefty sum per episode.
Yeah, I mean they do give us a huge amount, the BBC.
Of course.
But they don't want to produce a show that suddenly is of a much smaller standard, or less production values and that sort of thing. So
right.
So I mean, basically what would the solution to the problem would be to find someone who would take over HBO sharing it, but that's a lot harder than it sounds. for
Right.
many reasons. But I think what the fans can do is impress on the powers that be that this show is missed. This show will be missed, and there are people who are going to be affected by this, who are, very loyal, keen viewers of this show, and who feel that this show is unique and important, and for it to not continue is, it's not just, it's not a small deal for them. It's a very significant. It's become a significant part of people's lives in a way that not all TV shows do, however wonderful they are. It has been a unique thing, Gentleman Jack.
Yes.
Because of the response of the fans, because of the nature of the show, because of Ann Lister, because of who she was and what a unique, an extraordinary human being she was.
Absolutely. So
it's the shows that do get brought back after they've been cancelled are shows where the fans have really made their voices heard.
Yes, and there
and,
are
any amount of shouting from me about being angry or obsessed, or from Saran, that actually won't go very far. It's from the fans that it actually matters.
Right.
So
it's the fans that create the revenue stream for those services, and which is to put it in a very business-like manner at this point. HBO did not see the numbers that they would like to see especially in the specific age group that they most normally count on, which is the 18 to 49-year-old crowd, and especially 18 to 34. So, and we do have those viewers, we do have those people in the community, absolutely. But we also have a fairly heavy balance on the other end as well of people over 50. And there's a lot to be said for that. So what we want to move forward on for all of you who are watching right now is we are very interested, we being here at ALBW and in the community at large, of putting together an effort to reach out to impress the potential suitors that the BBC might have. And there are plenty of them. I mean, we've got Showtime, we've got Amazon Prime, we've got Apple TV Plus, Hulu, Starz, Paramount Plus, Netflix. Those streamers are all looking for content. They're all producing their content. And in fact, get this, Amazon Prime's new spinoff of J.R.R. Tolkien's Lord of the Rings. Sorry, my brain doesn't work as fast right now. The chemo's still in there. They're actually spending over $1 billion with a B on producing that series. So, and I don't think there's any gay people in there, but maybe Sam. Sam might be gay. We're not sure about him. But in any case, the money's there, especially for those things that they believe are going to draw an audience. So our job as fans is to let them know that we're out there, that we're out there in numbers that are significant enough, that the program means enough to us that we would definitely be tuning in. And the reason that
that's all great. I mean, Lookout Point are actively trying to make this happen and go again, and we'll be looking for the people. But again, the biggest thing will be viewers saying, we want the show back. We're not happy it's gone. And there are a lot of us who feel like
Sally, in order to get this effort moving forward and to show the kind of numbers that we have, and I know that you aren't the be-all and end-all decision maker on this next question, but I want to put it out there. Part of me believes that what we really need to be doing, we could do one of two things. We could tell our audience, okay, now I want you to go out there and I want you to start tweeting, Instagram, TikTok, social media at large. And I want you to make sure that you hashtag all of these different streamers. But I also feel like that our efforts really should be directed towards the organizations that are actually going to need to make partnership with those streamers. So part of me feels like we should be directing this towards the BBC and Lookout Point not in terms of complaining, in terms of letting them fill their war chest with all these tweets and all this information. My fear is if we go out and start independently reaching out to particular streamers or particular places, that our power will be lessened because it'll become too fragmented. So you'll be hearing, you out there in the community that are interested in jumping on board with this, and I hope it's every single one of you. We'll be getting back to you in the next couple of days with some thoughts about how and where you might want to do this. We already have several petitions out there, one of which I just looked at this morning is already over 2,500 signatures, which was pretty nice since it just went up, yesterday, late yesterday. We have a number of people who have stepped forward and said they want to help coordinate this campaign, which would be really helpful, because what I want to impress upon our audience today is this isn't something that's going to happen in one day. This is something that's going to take a protracted campaign of getting enough information out there. And along with social media, the other thing that we're going to do is put together a list of actual real life addresses, because I very much want you to write letters. I can tell you that entertainment marketers certainly put a lot into social media and what they see on social media. But you can send off a tweet in 20 seconds. If you're an entertainment marketing professional and you get a sackload of letters every day, that has a lot more impact because of the time it takes for you to commit to doing that, to write the letter, to put the stamp on it, to take it to the post office and mail it. Marketers in the past have assigned as much as 10,000 to every letter they get. As in, if one person is sending me a letter about this, we believe there's another 10,000 out there who feel the same way. So I don't believe that number is quite that high anymore because of social media, but I'm willing to bet it still has an impact. So we're going to be getting some information out to you with actual real life, post office addresses, et cetera, so you can put some letters together. Also would suggest that all of you contact any of your local pride organizations that might be in your town, village, neighborhood, whatever, to see if they can help you get the word out to other people. And see if they might be willing to jump on board in terms of any kind of social media. But we need to get our entire community behind this. This program has changed far too many lives to let it just die an ignominious death right now. So that's going to be very important. So I just want to make sure that you understand, any of you that are willing to do this, that, as Sally said, the chance is remote. We can't ignore that. But it's not impossible. There have been many programs that have been resurrected from the dead. Most recently, for a lot of our younger viewers out there, Winona, which had been canceled and was brought back. I know that happened, I think, during the first year that Gentleman Jack was out, as I remember from that campaign. So, Sally, did you want to add anything to that at all? If there's anything that
just made me wish that rather than also thinking about who else might come on board, is hoping HBO might change their mind. Right? They've been great partners. They've been wonderful partners.
Yeah. So, there's no.
They've been very good at. They've been, very creatively very supportive.
Yeah.
Well,
we'll make sure the cannon is pointed at them as well.
Yeah, but the biggest thing that I want to say is just thank you to the fans. I really felt it at ALBW in April. Just the creativity of the fans. The way they've responded to the show is such a creative response. Often it's like. Somebody gave me a car sticker that says "very, very rare, fine day," which is now on the back of my Mercedes, and which I'm extremely fond of. And
wonderful.
So many badges and lovely bits of, really lovely
memorabilia.
Love, you know.
Yeah.
One of my favorite badges. Oh, it's this extraordinarily good cartoon of Anne Lister and Anne Walker, and it's just extremely. It's real proper good cartoon work, you know, and it's you know it's just quite a cheap little badge, really. It wouldn't have cost a lot to make, but
That's it, right?
Is fantastic. Look at it.
Isn't that wonderful?
Yeah, it really is. You know,
What's that? JM. I can't. I'm not sure who did that, but it's really quite nice.
It's brilliant. I love the cartoon work on that. I think it's so
yeah,
a little badge like that to you know, the fantastic mosaic that Becky Payton made for me. You know, that is jaw-droppingly.
It's on the coffee cup.
The real thing in twilight, my orange. It comes to life.
Oh, it's quite nice. Isn't that beautiful? Yeah. So, Sally, let me just ask you real quickly, along with the possibility of trying to find a partner or getting HBO to come back on with Gentleman Jack and the effort that it's going to take from all these incredibly engaged fans out here. Is there a possibility, because I do know that you've been talking to the BBC and other suitors about the potential for other kinds of things. Is there any possibility that there might be, could we ever see, say, a young Anne Lister series?
Yeah, why not?
Yeah, get to work on that, will you?
How young? Yeah.
You know,
I mean, I hope, you know, that I've often said this. I think you could write 1,000 different shows about Anne Lister, and they'd all be different. They'd all be true, because you know, she was this extraordinary, multifaceted woman, and you know, she was a very different person in the period I've written about to what she was when she was younger.
Yes,
she was pretty crazy when she was young.
Yeah, I think that's why people are asking if they can see that.
You know, it could be a fantastic drama about her.
There's your 18.
I always like the period I've written about, because I think that's when she became truly multifaceted. You know, she had that extraordinary history of, you know, the way she, you know, carried on around Europe when she was younger.
Yes.
But then she'd come to own Shibden and gone down a, you know, really different path, choosing to settle down and marry, and to the estate, and to you know, to be this phenomenal entrepreneur that she became.
Yes.
And you know, that's the story we're going to miss now. You know, what was going to go on in season 3 is what she did with the Northgate Casino, continuing the coal mining rivalry with Christopher Rawson, which got really intense.
Yeah.
And then, you know, leading into the big series of journeys that she embarked on with Anne Walker.
Right. And then, of course, Mariana. I would assume we'd see more of Mariana in another series.
Yeah, I mean, Mariana and Charles came over to stay in Halifax
together.
Yeah, and Anne Walker got really well with her, in fact, and you know, that would have been a delight to write. And one of the things I was going to do as well was borrow stories from slightly earlier and bring Tib over to Shibden a couple of times, because, you know, we saw Joanna in season 2 playing Tib, and really we didn't see enough of her. You know, they just that's always been the, you know, 8 hours, and there really isn't enough time to do anything. You know, it's like what you see in Gentleman Jack is a fraction of what's in the diary. And it's so exciting that the code breakers, as they're called, which they're not code breakers, the code's broken, they're transcribers. But anyway,
there you go. Right. Yeah. Well done.
I love. They're all wonderful. You know, that now has been, the whole thing has been done. I told someone that the other day and they didn't believe me.
Yeah. Right. How could they do all that in that short period of time?
And they kept saying, no, they can't have done it all. I'm going, no, they have. No, they can't have. Yes, they have. No, they have. It took a while to persuade.
It's amazing. Yeah. Oh, you know what else I forgot to put in that list of the things that have been accomplished is our ongoing search for where Anne Lister might actually be in the Minster. Mm-hmm. And just so everybody out there knows, that search is ongoing. We actually have some new information that we're a little bit excited about without, jumping over and giving anything away, because we have some research to do on all of this. But we feel pretty confident that we may be closing in on where she is, which is really exciting. And hopefully we'll be talking about that, just so everybody knows, at LBW next year, quite likely on our first night in the Minster. So, Sally, I hope you're going to be able to come up for all of this, and we'll talk more later.
Yeah, absolutely, definitely.
Oh, great! That's wonderful.
Yeah.
And
it's not going to stop because the show stopped.
Thank God. Yeah. How about a movie?
Well.
Could we just have to find somebody with money and a producer and a bunch of other stuff, but why not? Yeah. So Sally, is there anything else you'd like to add? Because otherwise we'll open it up for some Q&A.
Well, I'd like to say it's really fantastic to see you looking so well.
Oh, thanks, Sal. Yeah.
It's wonderful.
It's really wonderful to be feeling so well. Quite frankly, it was, that news last week was, I got to tell you, it was a little nervous making, but very happy about it. So
you look great. You look absolutely brilliant.
Thank you. Yeah, I'll be better when my brain's better, but you know how that goes. In any case, Cheryl, let's see. We do have some questions. Let's see what we got here. This is from, and forgive me if I'm not pronouncing your names correctly, Terena Hamilton. Did you know that Sharon Stone shared the petition to save the show on Instagram?
Oh,
she
wow.
has millions of followers. How great is that? Holy shit. Wow.
Oh my
Sharon
God.
Stone, if you're out there, thank you. Yeah.
Yeah.
And Saran, if you did tune in to listen, thank you. Okay. Wow, that is big news, isn't it?
That's fantastic. Saran's going to watch later because she's filming at the moment. She's filming tonight, but she's going to watch later, she said.
Well, then, Saran, seriously, thank you so much. Katie Bienvenue, who, by the way, I know took lunch off from her job to watch this today. Hi, Katie. And many others. Would you consider doing a film? Well, you'd certainly consider doing it, wouldn't you?
Let's see. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah, I would certainly consider.
Yeah.
I'd do anything, I'd
Yeah.
Right.
Well,
put it on the script.
Here's somebody asking what we already talked about. Thoughts on a prequel. This is Lori Higgins. Sorry. Thoughts on a prequel of Young Anne. Maybe Saran could narrate.
Great.
Sure. Why not?
Very creative.
Yes. Yeah. And seriously, when you think about that, with HBO, I mean, if they want that 18 to 34-year-old age group, Jesus God, the stuff that Ann Lister got into in that time period of her life, can you imagine the people that would want to watch that?
Yeah. I think I'm too old to write it.
Your typewriter or your computer, people don't use typewriters anymore, will melt down. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, this is from Kim Ely. Any chance there might be a 2 or 3 part series or a special to wrap up the story?
Yeah, I mean, I can't say yes or no to anything. I'm not the one.
Right.
I'd happily write anything anybody'll, suggest.
Wants to put money into, right? Yeah.
And I'm not going to stop working on Ann Lister, whatever happens. She's there for keeps, Ann Lister. I'm sure everybody who's got into Ann Lister knows that. It's when you get into Ann Lister, she becomes part of your inner landscape, and I can't imagine. When I wrote my drama about the Bronte sisters, Talking Invisible, after I finished writing and directing it kind of, my interest in the Brontes is still there, but it's kind of dissipated. And I just thought, I know that's just not going to happen with Ann Lister. I didn't get into Ann Lister just to do this. She's kind of there. She becomes part of who you are, really.
She does indeed. I can say that for a fact. Absolutely. Okay, we have multiple asks. Who do you think most likely might pick up the show? Where should we focus? Well, again, I believe that we should be focusing on letting the BBC and Lookout Point and HBO, since they are the last partner that was involved on this, that we should definitely be focusing on them so that they understand the passion of the fans for this show, because you want this all to wind up in their pockets so that as they are courting other suitors, they can point to that.
Yeah.
However, we're also going to give you a whole list of hashtags that you can add on to that. So some of the other streamers that are out there, and Sally, you did tell me something interesting about this the other day. I thought about Showtime right off the bat, but you said that they actually had been in one of the initial conversations, right, about the show before HBO came on board? Or am I wrong about that?
Yeah, I think we talked to them initially in 2016, and they passed on it back then.
They might be interested in picking it up.
They're doing some interesting. I can't really answer that question that has just been posed. Only because I tend not to get involved in the sort of negotiations behind shows. It's I write and I direct, and I'm not a player.
Right. Understood. At least you don't think you are. Yeah. But I love your humility.
You probably know more than me, Pat, about that kind of thing.
I know. In any case, Showtime, in my mind, Apple TV, Apple Plus, because they do have some focus. The biggest thing is to find people who have a focus on LGBTQI community-oriented programs and who actually mean that they're doing that, unlike HBO that has their Instagram message of Pride today, yesterday, and every day, so much for Pride. I can say that you don't even have to say it.
No, my fondest wish would be that HBO changed their minds, because I've really enjoyed working with them. I think they're great. The execs that I've been working with have been absolutely wonderful. So.
Yeah, and they do have a reputation, or they have had up till now, because I don't know what's going to happen now that the merger's kind of, doing things with HBO Discovery, but they have had a reputation here in the States for decades of being a quality network or a quality broadcaster. And, I'm hooked on several of their shows.
Mm-hmm.
The HBO Max, by the way, if you haven't seen Hacks, you should be watching Hacks. Hacks is fabulous. So Jean Smart, she's wonderful. Any case, so let's see, and we'll be getting more about this online at ALBW chat. We're going to be laying out some strategies, et cetera, and we hope that you will follow them again, because fragmenting our drive will actually work against us. We need to be able to make sure that we're on a constant stream with this. So multiple comments for you, Sally. Thanking Sally profusely for bringing us Ann Lister and supporting our community. And boy, I will join in on that one. Thank you so much. Here's several people are asking, do you think Disney might get involved?
No comment.
No comment, right? And she's not no commenting about Ann Lister, but no comment. Sean Butler, have you started writing any of season 3 yet?
No.
How long does it take you to do that?
No, we had a plan in place, because we were reasonably optimistic, because if you get a second season, it's more than likely you get a third. So we were thinking ahead, and because it's been pretty well received.
Right.
Yeah. We were going to try a whole new different storylining system, which would hope to expedite things, because it is a hard show to write. It does take me approximately 2 months to write each episode.
Oh wow!
Which is a lot. Even it normally takes me a month to write an episode of something like Happy Valley or Last Tango.
Right.
And because of the nature of the diaries and the fact, that it's not a novel with a beginning, a middle, and an end. It's a journal. It's often very repetitive.
Right.
There are vast swathes of time when nothing happens. So to turn that into well-structured drama is a really complex process, and it takes a lot of thought. And
right.
what was the question? Sorry.
Oh, no, that question was whether or not you had started on season 3 yet. So writing.
No, I hadn't, because I've been writing the Disney show, and because I've been writing Happy Valley, and because I've been I've ended up working on Happy Valley a lot more intensively than I intended.
Right. You came back in and directed, didn't you, on Happy Valley?
Oh, that might have been a secret, Pat. Never mind.
Never mind. No, she didn't do that.
I had to get more involved than I'd anticipated, and so I haven't been as and also, you know, it's a bit of a like that bad luck thing of better not start working on it till we know it's greenlit, because it could be a bad thing. And I think there was a bit of that in it. But certainly, I mean, I'd, you know, got plans and ideas, and we've got the diaries ready and done. Would you
hopefully, I hope this isn't a yes, would you direct some of the episodes if we got more seasons?
I mean, that's my biggest regret of season 2 is that I couldn't direct it. I didn't have time. I was busy writing the Disney show. I was busy writing Happy Valley 3, which I don't regret, but I do regret not, you know, just not enough time to. It's hugely time consuming directing as well as writing. And it's my biggest regret that I didn't get a chance to. If that is the last season of Gentleman Jack.
Well, I think that we missed your touch.
But I, you know, from a personal point of view, I did miss not doing it. But, you know, it's the icing on the cake for me directing. It's you know, after all the hard slog of writing the scripts, you get the fun bit of, you know, seeing other people.
Yeah. Do you think that? Well, I know you really can't answer this, but I'm just curious. I mean, I'm assuming that most of the cast would be happy and excited about coming back if they were able to find schedules permitting.
I've no reason to think otherwise. You know, I as far as I'm aware, you know, everybody's really proud of the show. You know, everybody who's worked on the show knows how important it is now. Extraordinary. The response from the fans has been, and well, as Saran said yesterday in her Instagram message, and Sophie did as well, you know, that you know, just never experienced a response like that before from so many people. It's really isn't.
Well, we're here for all of them. So. Let's see. Would email be as effective as writing letters? This is from Terry Tribble. Sure. I think the email can be effective, but again, it's the commitment and the time, both the time and the energy that you take in actually writing a letter and sending it through the mail. You would be astounded how that strikes people. So just a thought. But yeah, anything. Just because you send an email doesn't mean you can't send a real letter or tweet or Instagram or create TikToks or anything you want to do, because everything will be important in this campaign. A few people asked because we're getting close to cutoff time here, a few people asked if there might be a book written by Sally about Anne.
I've certainly thought about that. I've certainly thought about writing a book. The sad truth is, Pat, that I'm not a novelist.
There you go.
I mean, I have got ambitions to retire one day and study some aspects of her life and her world,
right,
in an academic way, which is why I want to. I've created this, or I'm in the process of creating this scholarship, is because it's a sort of vicarious thing that I can't do myself at the moment, but I'm hoping.
Interesting. Yeah, I understand that one. Yeah. Amanda Walgrove asks, what were you most looking forward to in exploring in season 3? She wants to get her costumes ready.
Excellent. Well, she can do it anyway. She can do her own season 3 without me.
There you go, Amanda.
Season 3 for Amanda's.
She's brilliant.
Yeah. I was really looking forward to looking at the coal mining rivalry again, you know, to bring that back. But, you know, in season 2, the big baddie became Captain Sutherland. And in season 3, it's going to revert to what's his name?
Yeah, Rawson's. Yeah, Christopher Rawson. Yeah.
and continuing the animosity with the Sutherlands at the same time. So Annie's building up more and more people that she has to deal with around her, orbit. But also the marriage itself, continued to fracture and continued to be difficult because of external pressures. At the same time, Anne was continuing to expand her empire in Halifax. She was aggrandizing Shibden Hall. She was getting the hall
gussied up.
Yeah, gussied up. Good phrase. Which was always going to be a bit of a problem because we didn't ever ungussie the hall before we started filming in season 1.
Yeah, where'd that tower come from? Yeah. Yeah. Wow. Well, we're
also one of the great things I was really excited about. I talked to Tom Pye about was we were going to start seeing Anne as she is in the portrait. We were going to sort of change her look to start to really resemble the portrait.
Oh, cool.
I've got a picture on my wall here that Thomas from the art department did, which is the famous portrait of Anne. But it's got Saran's head on it that I think we used in season. Did we use it in season 1? We must have done. Yes, Anne Walker burnt it in the fire at the Sutherlands.
Oh.
And, so we were going to start to alter her image to start to really resemble that portrait.
Oh, excellent! Oh, the one of her sitting on the chair, not the portrait that's in Shibden Hall.
Kind of both of them, because I have a secret suspicion theory that one is the one that we use in the Anne Lister Society.
Yes,
I think that was a preliminary sketch for the oil painting. Because it's quite similar. It's exactly the same pose.
Yes.
There are 3 pictures in which she's in exactly the same position.
Right.
2 watercolors and the oil painting. She's in exactly the same position in it and very exactly the same clothes. There's little embellishments in the sort of elongated one. I have a feeling Anne Walker might have done. She's got the red heart, the little heart-shaped brooch.
Yeah.
Which is romantic image. And the odd thing about that as well, the slightly elongated one, is that anatomically it's not really correct, which makes me think it might have been, it's very competent, but it's not correct. So that way Walker might have done it. That it was very good, but not professional. In the way that the other one that we use for the Anne Lister Society, that clearly was done by a proper artist who understands anatomy.
Right. Wow. That's, wow. Those are, okay. Hold on a second. There, get a couple more. I just want to make sure that I get these. Yeah, I can't go there. Sorry.
Go on. No, don't.
Well, I can go on about it, but I have, but we don't want to go there. Trust me on this one.
Okay.
But happy to go on about it online at ALBW and ALBW chat. And the last thing that Cheryl's put across my screen here in terms of what else is going on in the comments section is that everyone else is just looking for direction on next steps. So to everyone out there who's looking for direction on next steps, I promise you that by tomorrow at the very latest, there'll be something posted on ALBW about the places that we think you should be directing your efforts. And you don't have to follow my lead, believe me. Whatever you want to do is fine. Just from my own entertainment marketing perspective, actually wrote 2 books on this subject up there on my bookshelf, that we want to make sure that it's a targeted campaign, that we don't have what we're trying to do slipping through the cracks someplace else. We want to make sure that it all shows up in the places that are going to make an impact. So let me just put something together. I'll get it to you tomorrow because we want this to start now. So all good. Sally, thank you. Thank you for coming on. Thank you for doing this at the last minute. Thank you for everything you've done for the community.
And thank you for all the other fantastic stuff that you've organised and coordinated. I mean, it's extraordinary, really.
It's fun. I love this community. I just, and they cured me. So what else can I say? Anyway. But thanks so much for coming on, and thanks to Cheryl and to Kat for just appearing so quickly in the last 24 hours to put this together for us. And let's go out there and kick some butt. What do you say? Okay.
Great. Nice
All right. It's great to see you, Sally. And thanks again for coming on. We'll see you.